Yeah, thank you very much. Mallik, I have to tell you, I was really excited this morning when I woke up because yesterday I was told that I will meet a man with magic power and someone who can walk on water. And I thought, okay, we all need people who walk on water. So you were born in India, and you worked in many, many countries, in Singapore and Sweden, Netherlands and US. So what is your experience here in this country? How desperate is Germany and our situation at the moment?
Perfect. First of all, pleasure to come over to this conference, and pleasure to meet you, Franziska. I mean, of course, this is my 7th country of life, with the family going around like, tribes running around different places. So you learn a lot. You learn a lot in terms of adopting into every culture, every country. However, I must say, if I take my 7 countries experience or take Germany as this is my 4th year I'm in Germany, I'm really impressed on one thing in this country, the collective intellect of people. I mean, I've seen in, let's say if I go to US, I don't want to mean to the US, but if you go to central part of US, they don't know about the world. But you can walk any place in Germany, small town, a medium town, cities, when you talk to people, I think the collective intelligence is significantly far above the average of rest of the countries where I lived. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see it, yeah? Yeah. And of course, there are challenges.
Yeah, because at the moment it seems as if everyone is angry in this country. The farmers, the doctors, the railway employees. You are said to be a disruptor. So, what is your answer? What would you disrupt in this country first, so that the people are less angry than at the moment?
But if you look at it, I think every country. I mean, for example, the farmer protest here or the transport facilities protest, it always has, one is a real reason and the politics around it, right? So I think these are the 2 things which distinguishes. Now, if I'm looking at this country, I mean, I've seen farmer protest in India, right? The government intends to do good for the farmers, but some of the communication doesn't happen between these 2 communities. Mm-hmm. The government and the farming community, or the communication breaks down, mm-hmm, because the politics comes into picture. That's what you see in this country also, mm-hmm, right? Yeah.
Everyone is always angry about one topic too. It's about the holes in the mobile network.
Absolutely.
So when was the last time you had no network, and when have you been angry with your Telefónica company or with the government? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even today, like you walk into a central part of any of the cities, you go into a nice restaurant at the basement, you have challenges, right? So I don't want to say we have a great scenario. Mobile network is life. Mm-hmm. Life is not perfect always, right? It's a living and breathing technology which is touching people every microsecond, right? It's 24/7. So obviously there are challenges. However, if I see in the last 3 to 4 years, I mean, about 4 years back when I came in, we used to have a conversation that there are some of the Eastern European countries have a better network than Germany. That was the conversation for sure. But collectively between 3 of us, Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone and O2, we really improved. We should be proud of the improvement what we made in this country. When we made a significant progress in the last 4 years, a significant investment which has gone in. Mm-hmm. Collectively, we've put in close to 45 billion euros in the last 5 years' time. So it's a significantly intense investment which has gone in. And today, if you compare with any benchmarks, we stay top 3, top 4. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the way we made. However, as I said, mobile network is about life. If you want to go to -2, and of course there is a lot of regulations, right? The building permits takes longer, time to build in this country takes significantly longer compared to any other place on the planet, I must say. Right? I've seen that in the last 4 years. It's tough, and it is extremely simple. Because of the complexity, we waste a significant amount of money, resources. If I look at my own, say, technology landscape of about 1,600 people working with the partners of 10,000 people, if I take from a regulation perspective, if we are able to solve the problem of permit, you can save at least 10 to 15% of your capex, which is a large money, right? And then you can improve the services to the customers.
So we need money, but we need the understanding of a government too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
6 years ago, there was a woman, she was research minister, I don't know if anyone remembers, Anja Karliczek it was her name, and she said 5G is not necessary for every milk jug in this country. So sometimes I think maybe it is because of this attitude that Germany ranks still 13th in Europe when it comes to the level of digitalization. Do you think we have a problem with our attitude towards transformation or innovation?
Absolutely. I mean, I think if the example of every milk jug doesn't need 5G, I think it's, at least today, it is proven that you need it. I'm not saying it's wrong when she said at that point of time, but today the market is changed. Everything which has electronics, everything which has capability to get connected will be connected, right? So that's the kind of overall, say, in terms of the crucial digitalization importance, right? Everything which has capability to get connected will be connected, whether it's through cable or through wireless means. Now, if you have to look at this change which we have to make, it needs a significant change in the culture and ability to learn, adopt, and re-adopt quickly. I don't say unlearning because it's difficult for us to say I want to unlearn one or two topics. It's not possible, but you have to relearn a lot of things. That is what is needed for the digital transformation. Now, we are running a digital transformation in our own company. If we start, you can start the digital transformation in an island in a company, or in a society, or an industry. However, after a critical mass, if you don't let go and become pervasive to the organization or society, democratization of the society, it doesn't happen. For example, when we started the digital transformation about 3 years back in 2002, of course, it started by me as a technologist. However, you have to find a time where technologists had to let go. Because we are very passionate. It is our child. I want to have the child continue to be with me on the lap. No, you can't carry the child more than 9 months. So you have to let go. So that is the technology community have to really let go this so-called ownership of digital transformation to a broader set of organization, whether it is HR, legal, regulation, marketing, sales. You have to let go.
So, but politics has to let go too, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes.
With its gigabit strategy, the government has put some nice promises in the window, a package of measures of 100 projects that were primarily intended to simplify approval procedures for network experience. So you have lived in so many countries and tried to develop the networks there. Compared between these countries, where's bureaucracy and politics worse?
I mean, I can't deny the politics in this country is the intention of, I mean, if I read any document, including the AI Act, you cannot say the document is wrong. It's a very well-meaning of any regulation is very well meant, but implementing that regulation, interpreting the regulation in every place. I mean, you have this 2024 that we want to simplify. Mr. Scholz said about last year that we want to simplify and, let's say, permit from a mobile telecom perspective. It is said about 6 months back. I hope by 2024, every municipality in the local area should have that interpreting that intent on the ground. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Because for me, while I'm a technology pervasive for Germany, but I have to get onto a rooftop or I have to go into a building every place.
So it is about all people, everyone.
Exactly. Everyone has to really transition. So you need to, I think for me, when I look at it, you need to invest in a lot of learning for the people who are in every offices, right? Because you have a very well say, meant at a chancellery level, at a federal government level, at the prime minister level in Bavaria, let's say. But if you go down to every street and every municipality, they don't interpret it the same way it was interpreted. So that's the big challenge of how do you train the people? I mean, for me, in Telefónica Germany itself, we have, 1,600 people in my team. Average age is about 52, right? And 50% of the company is spent 20 years plus in Telefónica itself. Now, the beauty is, 4 years back, we pulled a training in technology to say, I want to bring in about 350 people into the company. When we started thinking about it about 3 years back, there was a lot of resistance in terms of why do we need it? Can you retrain the people? However, we were able to recruit 385 people in the last 3.5 years. Believe me, I'm so passionate. Why I'm so passionate is I was able to bring in female diversity. I had 6% in my team. It's not right. When we brought in, right, and I have not recruited all the 385 people. There are the team who is recruiting, my recruitment manager, about 164 people who are recruiting. You train them. Those guys went and recruited 34% of my incoming talent is female on a 385 people. So it is possible. 64% diversity, international diversity. Right? Averages come down from 52 to 35. That's on one side of the story. The other side of the story is, if you take this team, put it alongside with my team right now, the great thing about this team, the average age, and then we can complain a lot of things, but this team was able to absorb all of them, train them, and be part of the culture of the team. I think that is what is amazing. That's where I say, from a Germany perspective, if you're able to communicate, over-invest on people, over-invest in culture, you can change this country. Because I have seen in a lot of countries, but this is the place, if you really get it right, you will get it right. You can't go wrong.
So we need to dare more optimism, or
more optimism.
less self-underestimation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Self-underestimation, and also, avoiding excellence. And when I was giving an example of my children, when I came to Netherlands about 14 years back, both the boys and we put them into school. They were never able to score more than 70% in the class. And I was frustrated. They were like top 90%, 95% in India. They were 8 and 13. I bring into Europe, and the guy says, Dad, I can't get more. I said, why? Then I went and met the principal. She says to me, Mr. Rao, the top class, that is 10 out of 10, is only for the God. 8 and 9 for the teacher. Your son is allowed to get 7. I said, okay, it's a completely different perspective of life. And it is hard. It's hard to change. So it's like, I keep joking with my own team that, okay, you have a refrigerator with injections of pain. You take that injection every day morning, you would do self-inflicting pain. And that's not done.
Okay, one major promise of digitalization and AI is participation, so which is just a dream, I think, for many, many people. O2, Telefónica, has an initiative, it's called Digitally Mobile in Old Age. Yeah. So you don't know my mom, but I know her very well, and she shows what studies show, that some groups feel increasingly overwhelmed. They don't feel that they participate through digitalization. They feel that they are overwhelmed by technique, by digital device. So how do you think we should discuss the gap between analog and digital lifestyle? Maybe we just like paper, or we just like talking to real people. There is an ethic discussion. How do you feel that?
Yeah, I think what we do underestimate the ability for elder generation to absorb technology. We really underestimate. I mean, if you go to our home or elderly care, they have been using more technology than ever, right from medication, right from television, I mean, you don't even know how quickly these guys know or change the channels, or I mean, at least what we have seen in Telefónica studies, right? One is you have to simplify in their language. You cannot talk technology jargons. I mean, there is a bubble of young talent and all the people who are able to absorb it, but you have to tailor-made use cases, the purpose for the elder generation. That's what we've been doing. So we have a specific, say, kind of I mean, I wouldn't even call it a price plan, a plan which is suitable for the adults, right, more than 70. However, you need to take them on the user journey, that what is the purpose? Technology is just a means to achieve the purpose. Technology is not at all the end game. So I think that is what we need to get more and more in the countries where the average age is going up significantly. Yeah.
Another big topic we are discussing is climate challenge because of electricity needs in transformation. So according to a PwC study, the annual data volume on the network is expected to triple by 2027 because of AI, but I have a suspicion, you know this, after a long day, you want to stream something briefly, and suddenly you wake up in the middle of the night and still the movie is playing. So how large is the proportion of this useless streaming right now, and what does it mean to a company like Telefónica?
I mean, I have two examples. On one side, it's a combination of regulation, using of technology. For example, a simple example like Netflix, as you mentioned, right? You're streaming continuously, you're sleeping, but you still are streaming. It's a waste of resource. From a technology perspective, you can easily intervene and say, okay, if you're not watching a vision, right, you can use a lot of technologies. However, the so-called net neutrality prevents or puts a barrier for technology to help to become efficient. I mean, this is a classic example. For Netflix, let's say, if it is streaming at 4K or 8K on your mobile phone, is it really efficient? It is not efficient. You have to adopt, say, I mean, from a Netflix or content perspective, you can deliver 8K or 10K or 12K, whatever. But does it need for the user? You don't need. Technology exists today to make sure that you are able to optimize.
But we need regulation for
regulation.
that?
I mean, progressive regulation.
Okay.
See, regulation should never be static. That's the biggest problem I see. Regulation is well-meaning, but it doesn't change quickly. It's like us writing a request for proposals for a new technology using my old document of 10 years back. Because my terms and conditions, that's what I do. I mean, we take the big RFP document, send it to the vendors, and then you forget that, okay, you need to completely change it. You can't reuse it. So same thing from regulation. I think these guys have to really move faster. And yes, there will be, you cannot, it's like law, right? You don't want to have innocent to be punished, but yes, the law says you have to do this, means you will have to put overhead on everybody. But at least some areas you have to have technology efficiency. I mean, the deep packet regulation, the US has moved past behind it, and Europe is stuck in that one, right? It was started in the US, but now Europe is stuck with the net neutrality, and because all the new innovation with 5G, 6G, personalized medical care, right? Personal assistance for the people. You cannot do it just by saying, I will prevent anything which goes inside the content. It's a problem. Yeah.
So your company particularly is committed to can-do. For 2024, what is your personal can-do in terms of developing this country or disrupting some things?
I think in the beginning of the year, I was making myself as like, at least I should, I know I can understand German, to be honest. I can understand maybe 30, 40%, but I should speak. Right? At least some, kind of, that's my personal goal. Professionally, we say, how can I really change my team? How can I continuously I always have the philosophy of overinvest on people and culture. And can I accelerate more in the company so that we have a team which can really adopt all these changes which are coming faster and faster.
So now you live for, I think, 7 years here in Germany. You told me that you move every 5 years. What?
No, it's 3.5 years, 4 years, close to 4 years. I still have time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the next country you're heading of?
I don't know. Honestly, I love Germany.
Okay.
To be honest. I think this is a place where after 16 years of running around, this is a place where we said, I want to buy a house.
Wow. Okay.
So that's it. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for this talk.
Thank you very much. Yeah.